Good morning and welcome to our Year 1 Meet the Teacher. It's lovely to have everybody here. As I was just saying, we are recording, so if you don't want your video shown at any point, please do feel free to turn your camera off. It is only a couple of people down the side at most. We're so glad that so many of you are able to join us today. And the purpose of our recording is so that people who aren't able to make it today can still see all the information. I'm going to hand over in a minute to Mrs. Gibbons and Miss Armstrong to go through the presentation, but I'm controlling the presentation. So guys, when you want me to go to the next slide, please say next slide.
We will.
I will be here. Hopefully they answer any questions that you might have through the presentation. We have allowed some time at the end for any questions that relate to the whole year group. If you've got a question specifically about your child, please do feel free to come and speak to the teachers individually about that rather than a big old public forum. But if we've done our job, there won't be any questions, but we don't mind if there are. So I'm going to hand straight over to Mrs. Gibbons and Miss Armstrong, who look like a comedy duo in your little box at the side. So
we can't see ourselves. I was just about to say, I hope you can see us.
I can't see myself, which is quite nice because I keep looking at myself going, oh, my hair looks weird. But no, we can see you, so it's fine. So over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Glamorous Assistant. So, hi everybody, I'm Mrs. Gibbons. I do hope you might know who I am, considering I've now taught both classes. But obviously, I'm the Flamingos teacher. I'm so pleased to be in Year 1 this year and be teaching both the other class as well. It's a real privilege actually being able to teach the whole year group. So I'm absolutely thrilled to be in Year 1. And in Flamingos with me, I have Mrs. Mortimer every day. So that is your Flamingos team.
There we go. And hi, I'm Miss Armstrong. I am the Penguins teacher, hoping that most of you know me by now. I'm really thrilled to be in Year 1 as well. It brings new challenges. I've moved from Year 2 to Year 1 and I'm super excited to be working in Year 1 and working with Mrs. Gibbons. And with us, we've got Mrs. Grovelands as the TA Monday to Thursday and Mrs. Ward all week, which hopefully you'll know her as well. So.
Can I just say to you both, you've got lovely robot voices at the moment and it's a little bit crackly. What I might do is give it another slide or two, and if it's still really crackly, I might ask you to sensibly walk down the corridor with your Chromebook to a different location, if that's all right.
That's fine. Did you change the slide? Because it hasn't come up on ours.
No. There you go.
That's fine. I thought that might be our problem.
It's all right, we've done that one now.
It's fine now too.
Okay.
Perfect.
So
can we have the next slide, please?
Oh, yes.
You're part of our comedy duo. So we've got the structure of the day here for you. So as you know, the gates open in the morning just before 8:40. So from 8:40 until 8:45, we have it as our registration and early morning work time. At the moment, children are doing sort of fine motor activities and simple writing activities in the morning just to keep them busy while everybody's filtering in. It's a really good children to come and talk to us, change their books and start to socialise with their friends and get ready for the day. Between 8:55 and 9, we do the register and start phonics, which is a 20 to 25 minute activity. We then move on to our English lessons, which last for 50 minutes at the moment, and as time goes on, we will slightly increase that. And then on 3 days a week, we go to assembly at 10:10. They're really enjoying the assemblies at the moment, which is really nice. And we've had a long chat about all the expectations, and they've been really meeting them, which is fantastic. And then at 10:30, the children go outside for a 20-minute playtime, which with the glorious weather at the moment is just lovely.
It's lovely today.
It's really nice. And then they come in at 10 to 11. We give a 10-minute snack break, so we have fruit, which is obviously free for everybody. Milk, if your child is on milk list, as I know it's a bit of a changeover into Year 1 now that they're all 5. They don't actually qualify for milk unless it's paid for. So if anybody on the milk list, double check with the office and you can sign up for that. So we have that for 10 minutes, and then we move on to maths lessons for an hour, and then we have lunch at 12 o'clock until 1, and then in the afternoons we do foundation subjects, reading, interventions, and catching up with a little continuous provision and the
Can I ask, sorry, because the The sound is really dodgy. Could I ask you to move to the staff room while I just go into the next slide? Is that all right?
That's fine.
Thank you very much. Sorry, everybody, about that. It's just, I don't know about you, but it was playing. Okay, so I'll just quickly do this slide while they're transitioning. So the curriculum in year 1, so what subjects they'll be learning. They might be able to add some more information specifically if they wanted to in this section. So maths and English are normally taught in the morning, and that definitely includes reading and phonics and writing. SPAG is spelling, grammar and punctuation, a different order. So that's incorporated mainly within their English learning time. Phonics is a separate lesson, and they currently use a Sounds Right program, which we've introduced, and it's absolutely fantastic at helping children not only with their phonics but the spelling. So when they come to writing, it really impacts on that as well. And I've just talked. Did you hear me talking, guys?
We did.
Okay.
She's very pleased because you've done her slide.
Nice slide, that's fine.
I've only done English and maths, so carry on.
Okay, so obviously we are teaching English and maths, which are the core subjects, and we will be doing PE as of the second part of the autumn term. We do PE twice a week, so at the moment our PE day is Thursday, and then they'll be doing PE Monday on alternative, which we will communicate with you in a letter which weeks to wear PE kit. Then we'll be doing PSHE, which is we talk a lot about feelings and emotions and how we keep ourselves safe and all things like that, which ties in with our Grovelands Values as well, which is lovely. Art, music, geography, history. RE has been a really nice one because they actually didn't know what RE was. So we've been talking lots about different religions and different beliefs over the last few weeks. And then computing and DT. I'm sure some of you probably already know about our DT project because I've had lots of recycling in this morning, which was great.
So have I.
So that is our curriculum.
Which moves us nicely onto our topics. I'm sure at the moment you're probably aware that we are doing Moon Zoom, as we had our very exciting rocket crash last week. So hopefully they came home and spoke a bit about that. So that's our topic up until half term. From October half term up until Christmas, we move on to Enchanted Woodland. After Christmas until February half term, we have Paws, Claws and Whiskers. In spring 2, which is after term until Easter, we have Memory Box, which is all about recalling memories from when they were younger, which I think I'm quite looking forward to. I think we can claw out of them. Summer 1, seeing what they did last year for Bright Lights in Big City for the Great Fire of London, I'm really looking forward to that one as well.
It's a good topic.
It's a really good topic. And then Summer 2, we move on to Dinosaur Planet.
Which actually ties in really nicely to the next slide, which is all about educational visits and Spark Days. So again, you probably already know that we had a rocket ship crash to sort of spark our new topic and get some lovely writing out of them. We're doing a variety of workshops across the year. I'm looking into doing a virtual reality space for the whole of year 1. There'll be workshops later on in the year. We've booked a tiger talk for Paws, Claws and Whiskers. At one point during the year, there's a mobile farm coming in. That is because they didn't have it in reception, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we thought we'd catch them up and let them have that experience.
It ties in with, I think it comes just after our Paws, Claws and Whiskers. So it'll be a nice little extra for them, which will be really good.
And then again, tying in with Paws, Claws and Whiskers as a trip, which I'm sure everyone's been. But they're really lovely days, and they just spark the learning. They spark lovely writing, excitement about the topic, and lots of discussion. So.
Talking a little bit about the assessment that we go through. So in year 1, every child will take part in a mandatory phonics screening test. It sounds scarier than I think it is because it has 2 sections with real words and nonsense words, and it's nothing on you guys that you have to do. It's all on us. It's all on everything we've been doing. So we make sure that they are ready for their phonics screener. We administer the tests. We take them 1-to-1, and we work our way through it, and it's all done in a really relaxed and informal way so that the children don't feel overwhelmed by it or intimidated by the process. That hopefully all feel secure and ready. We don't even say, oh, you're coming to do your phonics screen test. We can say, come and do a little bit of reading with us, and it's all done in a nice relaxed way for them, and it doesn't happen until June in 2020. A long way to go. The whole year of teaching, everything they've done in reception, everything they do now will go towards it. So we've got a way to go, but that's our mandatory end of year assessment for year 1.
You will also do obviously all your ongoing normal assessments as well. But
obviously,
they're the ones.
thank you, Mrs. Cole. Normal ongoing. It's not the only thing. We don't own the entire year. Although I think I would quite enjoy that. Honestly,
It's the only assessment that we have a statutory duty to report to our local authority. So
yeah,
and like they say, it's nothing to worry about.
So PPA. So every teacher is released weekly so we have planning, preparation and assessment time. So that's time where Mrs. Gibbons and I get together and we plan for the next week, we resource and we talk about how to formatively assess that week. So in year one, we're going to have PPA on a Monday afternoon. So the staff running the sessions on alternative weeks are Mrs. Askew and Mrs. West, who many of you probably already know as well. So Miss Askew will be teaching computing and then Mrs. West will be doing PE and music. So we're going to alternate which class does which. So Mrs. Askew will do computing with penguins one week and then flamingos the next, and then Mrs. West the same with PE and music.
Yeah.
Oh, so homework, there's a couple of expectations for homework. We would love for you guys to read with your children on a daily basis, if not daily then 5 times a week. Reading is obviously the foundation to all of our studies, and year one is a really important year for them to get them sort of being more fluent with their reading and starting to be able to read outside reading time, so things like reading menus, questions, reading activities, lots of things. So the more you can read with them, the better. We will be sending out homework in the next few weeks. It's going to be given out on a Wednesday. It's a fairly simple task. It's something that will consolidate what we've done in school already, and it shouldn't take more than 20 minutes. And that will be given out on a Wednesday and will be due in on the Monday. And then you might have seen in your children's reading records that we have given them a Numbots login. So if you've got children anywhere further up the school, you know they're rock stars. But as they are only year one, we would love for them to do Numbots at home. It's not compulsory, but it's a program they can log into, and it practices number fluency, simple addition, lots of people to sort of develop their number knowledge. And there is a leaderboard. So we will be celebrating those who have got the most coins and spent the most minutes on Numbots as well.
My children do that at home and they love it. It makes me feel better about not watching telly as much. So it's
don't feel as bad that they're on a screen. Nope. Which moves a little bit onto the other expectations of attendance. We would love for your children to be in school every single day. We do understand that they catch horrible bugs occasionally and still obviously washing hands all the time, but we'd love them to be in as much as possible, and we do expect that their attendance should be at 96% or higher, and obviously being in on time helps them as well. They get that early morning work with us and they're ready to start their peers, so being in by 8:55 in the morning is would be delightful. Our uniform, so ensuring that all school uniform is in line with the Grovelands uniform expectations. So no earrings. We know that people have been swapping them over for the spaces for the little clear plastic retainers, which is what they and that stops any being pulled out because they're soft and they'll come out, so then we don't have any injuries. Long hair should be tied up, and no large hair accessories, so the massive bows are a bit of a no-no. Small bows, absolutely fine, and school colours, and no shaved sections, which is not permitted in school. And PE kits, you should wear PE kits on a Monday and a Thursday. We will let you know which Mondays you will need them for. If they come in on the wrong day in their PE kit on a Monday, don't worry, it's not a problem. Oh, and it moves straight back onto me as well. So we jiggled it around a little bit. So our Grovelands values, we have 6 Grovelands values here, which we do each half term. And they are kindness, respect, friendship, trust, and determination. And I'm sure you'd all agree that these are 6 really important values that the children, we'd love all of our children to have, and they're definitely showing them to us. The respect is just coming in heaps from them. The friendships have been fantastic. They're all being their own unique person. They're very kind, trustworthy, and they're determined to learn. So those are the types of things that we're really looking for. Obviously, we're looking for lots of other things as well, but these are what we would love to celebrate. So you might get home a praise card saying that they've done something, although I think I'm jumping on to what you might be doing. I'm all right. I was like, oh no, is it coming in the next
you're
slide? So we'll be spotting these values. Oh yeah, is there? We'll be sending home the praise cards, which you might get as a little postcard in the post. So keep an eye out for those. We obviously have our achievement and behaviour assemblies each week where we celebrate children who are showing us all values, and we have Grovelands Values tokens that we will be using to go alongside this.
That's jumping on to the next slide. But
Yeah, I know. As I said that, I was like, oh, I know, I've said it now.
So all of our children should be sorted into houses already. We have got them up on the walls, or will have them up on the walls. So if they're not sure what house they are, it will be up for them to see. But what we are reintroducing are the Grovelands Values tokens. We didn't have them before because of COVID and touching, but we're reintroducing them. So they're tiny little gold coins, and if any of the children have demonstrated a behaviour that's in line with our values, they can get themselves a values token. And at the end of the week, we empty them into a big box, and the winning house each week is celebrated in assembly, and then the winning house at the end of the term is going to have a special treat. Don't know what it is yet, but
I think it will change depending on who wins and when. So this leads us on to if your child, or if you have any concern. So if a child is worried about something, we encourage them to speak to somebody about it. And it's speaking to us, so talking to a member of staff, whether it's myself, Mrs. Moulsmar, Miss Armstrong, Mrs. Clover-Lambert, Mrs. Ward, or any other members of staff that they recognise in school. Obviously, they'll recognise people from when they were in reception, and they'll start learning more members of staff now that we're all back together, which is fantastic, now that they're in the lunch hall and out on the playground. So we would really encourage them to talk to a member of staff, talking to you if they have any worries, and then obviously writing a note to a trusted adult is not something else that they could lead up to. They can look into any problems, and if you have any concerns, we'd love you to come and speak to us as the first point of call, because generally we'd be able to either advise or help as much as possible before we need to escalate it on. So come and speak to us if you have any worries. We're always at the door, available either before or after school. If we're not able to resolve it, we will speak to Mr. Kempton, who's our phase leader, and he will support us with any worries or issues that we've got. And then if it still doesn't get resolved, we will move on to the senior leadership team, which would include Mr. Tuck or Mrs. Coleman, and then we will obviously still try to get to the bottom of it. So hopefully everything will be fine. You can come and speak to us.
That moves on to parents' meetings. So all of you will be invited to make an appointment for a parents' evening in both terms. I believe, Mrs. Coleman, they're still being held online, aren't they?
They definitely are. So autumn term.
Fab. So you can book, as you did last year, you can book a slot online, and that's a 10 and in spring. That's to discuss sort of how they're getting on at school, whether they have any worries, how they're progressing with the curriculum. And then if you have a child with special educational needs, there is an additional meeting that you'll be invited to. It's called a pupil passport meeting. So we just specifically talk about the targets and what we can do to support them in achieving that.
And that meeting you will know if you're invited to it. You'll get the invitation if you're not sure. And lastly, we're on to remote learning. So obviously now with all of the guidance changing for isolations and bulk, we will still be offering remote learning, and this will be for children who test positive for COVID and are isolating, but are potentially not presenting any symptoms because they will be well enough to complete the work. Remote learning will not be offered if they're off with a sick bug or something like that, because obviously they're too poorly, and we'd never want them to have to do the work while they're sitting at home not feeling very well. So if they are off isolating because they either don't have any symptoms or are okay but still having to finish their isolation period, remote learning will be offered. So if that is the case, speak to us and we will provide it for you.
Via the year one teacher email, which is just year1teacher@grovelands.surrey.sch.uk, and can reply to any queries on there, which actually brings me on to questions and queries. So please feel free now to ask us any questions that apply to the whole year group. If there's a question about your child specifically, then you can come find either of us at the end of the day or in the morning.
As they said, please feel free to unmute yourselves if you want to.
Can I just ask a question about how play continues into year one, or if it does at all?
You can take
I'll take this one. So we are at the moment running continuous provision still in a slightly it's a slightly less amount, would we say. At the moment we're providing probably more targeted continuous provision during English and maths at the moment, so they're still choosing, we're still getting some of that downtime, and especially in the afternoon. So that's why we don't start our science project until after half term, so that it gives them time to settle in. So we've got time throughout the afternoon where they will play. Sometimes it will be more targeted activities. If we want to get them to do something specific, we're still doing bits of star jobs to keep them doing independent activities. It will just be a bit of a free for all and come and have a bit of a relax. And we're doing a 10-minute afternoon playtime as well, to give them a break between that foundation learning and our continuous provision, so that it gives them a little bit of a movement break. And we sometimes pop a movement break in the morning as well, to get them all up and about, just to keep their brains active and give them a little bit of a break. So we are continuing with it, and it's just a slightly different process. Hopefully I've answered all of that.
But I think as well, towards the end of the year, you'll kind of see it starting to phase out to get them ready for year 2. But at the moment, we're very much transitioning from reception to year 1 by giving them as much choosing time as we can, and then it will just slowly start to filter out, so that they are prepared to go up to year 2.
Did that answer the question, or was your question about sort of more the play times rather than the learning opportunities?
No, that did answer. Thank you.
Fabulous.
Brilliant.
Will
they be learning an instrument? Not this year. It is year 2 normally that they learn the recorders. We will be playing things like year 3. It was year 2.
Yes.
But no, we'll be playing things like the glockenspiels and the chime bars, and we'll be getting instruments out, but there isn't a specific instrument that they learn in year 1.
You're welcome. It pops up at the bottom.
Yeah.
Fab. Are there any other questions?
Okay.
Brilliant.
If anybody does have a question that they think of afterwards, please feel free. Mrs. Gibbons and Miss Armstrong are always there, like they say, especially after school is probably the easiest time. Or myself, if you want, or Mr. Tuck, if you want to email info as well, or the year 1 teachers, that's absolutely fine. Thank you so much for everybody for joining us.
Question. Sorry.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, I am a bit quiet. I just wanted to ask, on the times tables rock stars, they have access to a lot of the times tables, so the 5, the 2, the 8, etc. Are they okay to try them all, or should we ask them which ones have they done?
They are. So what we've done, they logins are primarily for Numbots, just because they are younger, but they do have access to all of the times table rock stars as well. Completely, they can use it as they please. I've set Penguin Bingos at the moment for their when you just press like the player session just to do 10s. But if you want to give it a go and do the other tables, please do.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, sorry, it's Donna here. Can I just ask a quick question as well? With the email that came out a couple of weeks ago about if they do either sports clubs before school or sports clubs after school, I wanted to ask, will there be someone to help them, like either get changed or from out of their school uniform into their PE kit and vice versa? It's just, I'm not sure how competent.
Obviously,
I worry that she's going to lose all her clothes or something. I know it sort of stresses her out a bit, and she sort of said, I don't want to do that club because she's worried about getting changed.
I would expect possibly to lose a sub occasionally. I mean, even as they go all the way through the school, it does happen, but they're around to help them. So depending on what club they go to, the coaches will be there on hand to help. If they're doing a club in the morning and coming to us, I'm not sure if they change with the coach before they come to us, but if they came to us in PE kit, we would always help them.
So I think for the first couple of weeks as well, if like they've got tennis this afternoon, for example, I think we'll be on hand just to make sure that they are settled before they can do it themselves.
I mean, conveniently, it's a PE day, so today's perfect. If they do tennis, no issues. But yeah, if they're doing a club, there will either be us around. So if it works out that it's too stressful sending them to the club to get changed, we might just change them in class. So we'll work out whatever the best solution is.
Yeah, they won't be left
as much
to
as
it.
possible.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions at all?
Yeah, could I ask a question? Hi there. How can we know what you're working on in terms of phonics? You know, the phonics sounds and everything. Will there be any form of communication with that?
So at the moment, we are recapping the things they finish at the end of reception. But as soon as we start the extended code, which is where we start learning digraphs, we'll put them in the newsletter every week.
Brilliant.
So we'll put the digraphs we've learned in the newsletter.
And then what we're learning the following week as well, in the what's happening next week, just to keep you updated. We can make sure we pop in the ones that we're consolidating at the moment for you as well. Sorry, we've probably forgotten to do that.
We can do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions at all? Okay, so as we said, thank you so much. And again, if you have any questions that you think of afterwards, please don't hesitate to contact us. But I think that's all from us. Thank you so much for joining. Have a lovely rest of the day, and we'll see you in about 3 hours at Pickup.